Hey guys, always Dizzy here. I am back with round 4 from the 2022 Langley Open. I've got the score sheets here, I've got the game already. Um, so this round, well, first of all, as a reminder, previous round, assuming you've watched it already, if not, you can go back and watch it, um, was a draw. I drew like a 1000 rated kid. It was I made a number of mistakes, so a draw is actually okay with me considering how I played. Um, Round 4, I was faced against another kid. This kid was a little bit older. I think round 3. I think my opponent was maybe like 8 years old, 7, maybe 7 years old. I'm not sure how old this kid was. Maybe more like 11 or 12. Um, I haven't heard of his name before, uh, I, despite going to so many tournaments and everything. So I think he's only played maybe 1 or 2 tournaments previously. And that's not a typo. He is rated 981. But as we've seen from the previous game, rating kind of means nothing these days. um, Yeah. So, and the other thing to consider is that since this is a Swiss system, both my opponent and I would be scored at 1.5 out of 3. So he's doing decently. He's scoring 50% so far. So you can't take them lightly because he's got the same score as I do. Okay, let's take a look here. So this was the second round of the day. Just hurt my back. This was the second round of the day, so starting to get a little tired, but I was actually feeling pretty decent the whole tournament. I was still having major jaw issues, which my jaw has much improved since then, but yeah, I was still kind of recovering from my jaw at that point. It was still kind of bad. Anyways, my opponent played d4, and I played knight f6, c4, e6, e3, which I haven't really seen in a while. I always forget my d4 openings as black. It's something I have to work on. But yeah, I played b6, knight c3, and bishop b4. And bishop b4 is playable, but it's kind of a mistake in the sense that this is actually not my repertoire move. I just forgot. My thinking was that this is similar to like a Nimzo, even though like my opponent played e3 and the knight c3. I thought I could play it similar to a Nimzo here because it seemed like it would transpose like queen c2. Maybe I even just take right away. And it just seemed like the properties of a Nimzo. So I decided to play it like that. But yeah, it's actually not like when I checked later against my repertoire, that's actually not what I normally play. He played bishop d2, which was not really the best response either. I think, I forget what the computer recommended. It was probably, it might have been knight ge2 with the idea of a3. But bishop d2, it's not like a mistake or anything. I played bishop b7. He played knight f3. I castled, and he played a3. I took. I don't want to give up my bishop for a knight generally, but it's very rare that in such positions like in Nimzo that you bring the bishop back. I think it's just not worth the tempo to do so. So I took. He took back with the bishop, and I played knight e4, queen c2. So the game has been pretty natural so far, nothing special. I took the bishop. And then he went b takes c3. He thought for a little bit here, and then he took with the pawn, which was a little surprising. I thought possibly he might do this. Yes, he gets double pawns, and he creates an isolani on a3, but he does get like a strong pawn center. So I could understand why he might have considered this. I think the computer did prefer just to take with the queen, though, for white. I played d6. I'm just playing it like a Nimzo at this point. He played bishop d3. Played h6. I've got notes here that the computer, I believe, actually preferred bishop takes f3, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, I think I don't have the engine open, but I think it was bishop f3, and then if bishop h7, king h8. And then what? Was it then g takes f3? And then g6? I can't quite remember. But yeah, the computer wants to take on f3. The computer's brave. I'm not that brave. I played h6. By the way, the bishop takes f3. It was only a slightly better option over h6. So he played rook b1, which I think the computer was fine with. It seems kind of strange, but there's actually some lines against d4 in these positions where white will later play c5, and then rook b1 makes sense. So my opponent might have been thinking along those lines. I played knight d7. He played bishop h7, which really surprised me, because it's like such a computer move, you know. It's like, yeah, why do that? And then he instantly played bishop e4, which was very annoying, because what do you do here as black? And I couldn't avoid this, but that's an interesting maneuver, because like he could have just played bishop e4 to begin with, but he decided that my king was worse on h8 than it is on g8, which might be true. But yeah, so here I preferably I don't really want, I mean, because I like my bishop. My bishop is quite strong. So is his. But I can't ignore it. Like I can't really play queen c8. My queen's not good on b7, and I can't block it, I don't think. I mean, I guess I could block it, but then d6 is weak, and he might just be able to play d5 maybe. So yeah, I took, or traded. He recaptured. I played rook e8. This was actually a little annoying too. Like, I wanted to like get the queen out or bring the knight out or something, but queen b7, I guess queen b7 is not a problem yet. Maybe it was later that it was a problem, or not a problem, but annoying. I mean, because if I move the queen out, then queen b7, I guess I could put a rook on c8. I guess I would have been okay there. It might have been later that I was worried about that. So I played rook e8. He plays queen c2. By the way, guys, I just want to say I'm going to have a blatant little self-promotion here. But if you are enjoying these videos and you're not subscribed yet, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed and maybe spread the word a little bit. I've been doing these videos for years now, and I still only have a handful of subscribers and viewers, and it would be great if more people, you know, if I could kind of grow that viewership. But okay, plug ended. Rook c8. I was kind of just planning c5. He played a4, and then I played a5, which is normal and pretty standard. But I did learn something this game. which I hope to remember in the future. And that is, a5 is totally fine here. It's a good move. It might be the best move. But when I play that in here, I have to be careful because b6 could become a backwards pawn, which could become a weakness later on and annoying to deal with, to babysit. So I just have to kind of be, I just have to be aware of that fact. It's not like you can never push the C pawn, but if you do, like, you just have to be a little bit cautious here that this could become a weakness on this open file for white. But I mean, a5 is totally fine. I just have to be aware of that. So he played h3, which was, probably a little slow. I'm thinking he doesn't quite know how to continue here. I'm not sure why he didn't just castle. And then I played c5, which isn't the worst move in the world, but it does. But now b6 really does become a bit of a weakness. It's a permanent weakness. It's not terrible. This isn't a terrible move, c5, but I just have to be aware that this could cost me later on. C5 in the Nimzo, and I know this isn't technically a Nimzo, but basically the structure is exactly like a Nimzo. C5 is very thematic, kind of baiting either CD or D5. And even though I have B6 defended, it's just something that I have to defend later on in the game. So I forget what the computer suggested instead of C5. I guess let me turn it on for a second here. Give it a few seconds to load. So it's suggesting E5 or Queen F6 or Queen E7. When I play C5, at a low depth anyways, it's about, it's almost a mistake. It's about a 40 to 50 center pawn difference over the next best move. So B6 just becomes a little bit weak there. Let me turn off the engine. Okay. Anyways, not a huge deal though. C5, he played D5 as I was hoping for. I played E5, and this was why this is what I wanted. I was very happy to have this. I played this very quickly. We're basically highlighting this weakness. But the thing is, I think the C3 and C4 weakness, the fact that I have this backwards B pawn, I think they kind of balance each other out because I can never push here, right? So I don't know. Maybe this is still slightly worse for white because these are harder for white. I mean, these are kind of, easier to target, to attack. But yeah, the backwards B pawn, I think, is not fantastic here. He castles, which isn't the best move because it allows E4, which is what I played. He plays knight D2. I played F5, and that was kind of a hard move to make. I felt like it might need to be played, but it's still scary to play here. It's very committal. He plays F3. I played Queen G5. I didn't really have a plan here. I just saw that the D3 pawn or the E3 pawn was weak, and I just wanted to get my queen active and play a move. I didn't have a plan other than to attack the E3 pawn. He played Rook B E1. And I think the computer preferred that white keep pressure on the B6 pawn. I'm not sure exactly how, or I forget how it wanted to do that, but I mean, he can only keep so much pressure on it. But I think this is kind of just it's just an equal position, and I guess this gives black a little bit of freedom to play on the king side here, when I don't have to defend B6 as much. I played queen e7. I really didn't know what to do here. The computer preferred to take on f3. But I did look at that, but I only looked at it one move deeper, and then I discarded the idea. I thought this was too good for white, but this is actually slightly better for black, apparently. And I think after that, we just bring the queen back to f6. So I think it's something like this. And then we can bring in our knight eventually and our rooks. But yeah, this was a little, I don't know. It seems risky to me. So after queen e7, he took on e4. I took back. And just remember, my opponent is rated under 1,000, and he's giving me a good game. I mean, long gone are the days where you can enter a tournament and just get like a free win, you know, where people are just dropping pieces left and right, dropping their queen, you know, you fork their rooks and so on. I mean, come on, this kid he's 900 and geez. Okay. He played rook f4. I played knight f6. Rook b1, which may seem strange, but it actually gave me problems because I have to defend the b6 pawn now. So I played rook b8. He played rook b5, which was not a good move according to the engine. I guess he wanted to like try to double up, but I've got way too many pieces here. Like I've got way too many pieces that I can help defend that pawn. So I guess he is also attacking. Maybe he wanted this idea, and then, but I still can just. I guess maybe that was his plan. Maybe it's not the worst plan in the world because he's attacking e4 3 times, and he's attacking b6 once. So actually that. Oh yeah, the only reason it wasn't good is because what I played queen e5. So now he can't play queen b1. Well, he can, but then my queen is way too active here. Right. Otherwise, his idea is good. So instead, instead of rook b5, the computer preferred. Oh wait, never mind. I forget what it preferred, but it didn't like rook b5 because of queen e5. Instead of queen e5, the computer says g5 is even stronger. But yeah, I played queen e5. He played rook b3, and rook b3 is a mistake because like either move it all the way back or leave it where it is, because how is this helping you at all? This makes no sense. So rook b3 was a strange move from my opponent. That didn't make any sense to me. Now I played g5, rook f2, and I played king g7. The computer preferred wait, was that right? Yeah, I think I meant g5. The computer preferred g4 rather. I think it preferred g4 here, which I guess makes sense. But I'm not a computer. I played king g7, rook b1. I played knight d7. I think I just wanted to defend b6 with my knight so that I could maybe trade the rooks or something. I forget exactly. He doubles up on the f file. And this caused me a lot of grief. I spent 12 minutes on this move. There's a big problem, right? What's the problem? Rook f7. So how do you deal with this? Yeah, I thought for 12 minutes. How much time did I have at the end of this? Ooh. Yeah, after my next move, I was down to 32 minutes. which is not a lot of. I mean, it's not terrible, but I really sunk a lot of time into this. Yeah, what do you do here? Because if I play knight, sorry, if I play knight f8, I think I was worried about. I forget if I was worried about rook f5 or rook f7 or rook f7. They probably transpose and then bring in the other rook and. Oh no, yeah, I remember now. I think. I think I didn't like knight f8 because he can attack my queen. Yeah, that's why. And then if I move the queen somewhere, um, then he can take on e3. So I forget what the computer suggested here. I'm going to turn it on. Oh, right. Right. Okay. So the move I played was king g8, which is a blunder. The thing is, I didn't want to give up this pawn, right? I'm just too materialistic. And so I went king g8. The best move is actually to give up the pawn. Surprise, surprise. And to bring, just to give up the pawn and just trade off the rooks. So if let's say this happens, he will win a pawn. I'm not sure how, maybe we take this a knight. He will win a pawn. I'm not sure if this is the best way forward for me, but well, probably not. No, maybe there was a better way. Hang on. What did I do? I took him. Yeah, so maybe I take this a knight then. And yeah, so then if this happens, first of all, I might not take the queen. But even if I do take the queen, no, but that's still, yeah. Well, it's still kind of a headache. But the resulting e3 pawn is weak for white. But this is just winning for white. So hang on, I'm going to use the engine to help because I want to remember. Okay, so if he does take here, yeah, we recaptured. So I'm using the engine now. Okay, and so here, yeah, we can take it either way. And if he takes with the queen, okay, so then here it doesn't want to recapture because we can't defend d6. So we could just play knight g6 or king f6. But we can apparently hold here. I guess the doubled c pawns hurts white a little bit, and this is an equal position. If he trades, well, now he can't move the knight because we'll take on c4, and black can hold here. So that's what I should have done. But I'm human, and yeah, I played king g8. And this is, I believe, losing if white plays properly. So he plays rook f7, which was good. I played rook e7, which was necessary, I believe. He takes. Knight f3 was apparently even stronger. I can't take because it's mate on h7. I took back. Queen takes e4. Queen takes e4. Knight takes e4. And rook e8. And I kind of went through these moves a little bit quick, but that's why I was happy to, or not happy, but that's why I offered the trade on e7 here. Because I realized if I do drop the e4 pawn, that I do have pressure against his e3 pawn, which is what happened. So I played rook e8, knight d6. I take on e3. These are all kind of forced moves. He plays rook f3, which is a blunder. He could have done better. I forget what the best move is. I think it was actually playing rook f7. I can't draw arrows. How come I can't draw arrows? Oh, there we go. I think it was rook f7, which is kind of scary for white. It seems like he might drop a piece here. But I think that was the best move. and then to try to come in here, I believe, something like that. But this allows me to trade, and this trade is it's kind of a difficult decision. I was down to 20 minutes at this point. He had an hour, because it may seem like a simple decision, but this a4 pawn is undefended, and so I was thinking check, grab that pawn, and I've got an a pawn running. Like, that is extremely tempting here. And excuse me, I think the computer says that actually that plan doesn't work, which is a little surprising. I ended up trading rooks because I thought it was a little safer, even though he has he is a connected passed pawn here. This is he can't like move his knight without me taking on c4, and my king is quite close to his passed pawn. And knight and pawn endgames are supposed to be played similar to, they have very similar properties to as if there were no knights on board. And so I thought I had decent chances of draw. The other thing I think I calculated was that if I trade rooks, I can play king f8 and then king e7, and I guess there might have been a check there, but my king gets active at this point, and then I still have a knight to play with. So I thought I had decent drawing chances here. So I did trade, and he took back. I played knight e5, king f2, king f8, so sticking with my plan. Just one more reminder, my opponent is rated 981. Right? Like, hang a piece, play like a 900, man. Do this or something. Like, start dropping stuff. Like, man, it's so tough. Okay. He played king e3. And I blundered here. I was in a little bit of time pressure. I had 17 minutes. But I blundered here. I played h5. I think I think the reason I played h5 is because I wanted to play king e7, but then there's this fork. And so I think that's why I played it. It's not like the greatest reason. The problem with h5, though, is that it allows his king to get too active with king e4. And he's taking my knight, and he can come into king f5. Actually, no, hang on. There's also something. No, there's something more deeper here. I'm just reading my notes. My original plan way back here, it wasn't that far back, but before I traded rooks, was to trade rooks and then go king f8, king e7. But the problem is I didn't realize at that time that here, if I go king, what I missed was, because here I wanted to play king e7. I totally missed knight f8 check. And then the fork here. I totally missed that. And that's actually another reason why I played h5. Yeah, I think part of it was I was hoping he might just move the knight, and I thought it didn't hurt to play h5, kind of a waiting move. Now the thing is, if I had just looked a little bit deeper, I can actually proceed with my plan. Because I can allow knight f8. Because if I go king e7, knight f8, check, his knight is actually trapped. So I could then, I think, just go. So let's put it on board. I think I can then go king d7. If he doesn't take the pawn, I can just, sorry. If he doesn't take the pawn, I can probably just grab on c4. And if he does take the pawn, then I think he's trapped. We just go to c7, and he is trapped. He's completely trapped. So I actually could have gone with that plan. Okay, but I played h5. He played king e4. I played knight g6. And the computer, I believe, says that I'm just losing here. His king is too active. Yeah, I'm down to 16 minutes here. He has 1 hour. He played knight c8, which is a blunder, but not so simple to recognize that that's a blunder. The problem is I get to play knight f4, which is what I played. And he took on b6, which is another blunder. Apparently, h4 would have secured the game for white. Because if I take, his king can stop my pawn. And if I don't take, well, he's going to take me. And so, yeah, h4 should have won the game for white. But I think, was he playing quickly? He might have been playing quickly to get me on time. Yeah, he was playing pretty quickly. He was playing about the same speed as me, but he has an hour. So, and you know, this is kind of a complicated endgame. So yeah, he took the pawn on b6. And I made another blunder. I took on h3. But I completely missed knight d7. Yeah, I think I was getting a little bit tired at this point. I mean, in a blitz game, like, yeah, I mean, maybe I'll take on h3 because it looks like we can run pawns or something. But this is too much of an issue. So I took on h3. Now he played king e5. Now, fortunately, he didn't see this. I think again he was trying to maybe flag me. Although to be fair, this looks extremely strong for white, because it looks like he can probably just queen. You know, that looks pretty hard to stop for black. But I played g4. He took on g4. I took back. He played king e4, which I think was the best move. King e7, so, you know, dealing with this passed pawn. The other thing to consider is that his king can't infiltrate, right? I'm covering these two squares. And if he can't go to c5, because I'll just play b3. So I actually don't need to touch. These are kind of untouchable right now, my knight and my pawn. In fact, this is covered as well. So these are self-sufficient for the moment, so that's why I brought in the king. He played knight c8 check. And this is when oh yeah, and I think I also recognized at this point as well, because I did think here, I think. Okay, not really, I only spent a minute, but I think at this point I realized that his knight was boxed in, and he couldn't escape. Maybe he could do it this way. No. Yeah, I realized that his knight actually couldn't escape here as well. So that's the other reason I played king e7. I guess, did he have time? No, he didn't have time for that. No, I guess he could go this way. He could. Yeah, and he does give me a check. I go king d7, and yeah, he does play knight a7. g3, king f3. This is what happened in the game. Knight f2. Takes on g3, knight e4 check, king f3, knight takes c3, king e3. I'm down to 15 minutes at this point, plenty of time. I took on a4, king d3. Then I played knight b6 and I offered a draw. I was wearing a mask, and I might not have said it too loudly. And I was a little surprised that he kept playing, because I'm like, this is a draw. Like this, I don't think White can win this, because I mean, possibly if I screw up, but all I need to do is sack my knight for one of his pawns and then grab the resulting pawn. If he lets me do that, then it's a draw, right? So I was a little surprised that he kept playing on. Um, but then after he played knight b5, I started thinking for about a minute or two, and then he offered me a draw, and it turns out he didn't hear me. I didn't say it loud enough previously. He didn't hear me, so I'm like, yeah, didn't you hear me? I offered a draw, so it was, yeah, we drew here. Yeah, it's unfortunate because I mean it was a decent game, but I can't afford to draw people 600 or 500 points lower rated than me. Um, and I did that in the last two games. But he played well, and I mean, what can I say? As a quick recap, I mean, I don't want to go over the whole game in detail because I just did. Um, this was all fine. This was good. C5 was a slight mistake. I mean, this is not a big deal. I mean, I'm really nitpicking here, but a little bit of an inaccuracy. Not a massive one, like 40, maybe 40 centipawns, but yeah, it kind of uh, locks the structure, and I don't get to take advantage of those double pawns as much. But not a huge deal. There were like small, tiny little inaccuracies. Now I did blunder. Here when I played King G8. That was a blunder, where I needed to give up the E4 pawn, uh, and he didn't capitalize it fully. And then this, I think he's still winning here though. Is it? No, not quite. When I played H5, that was a blunder. So, but I mean, the game, it was I mean, yeah, I could have maybe improved a little bit on a few moves, but I think both of us played a pretty good game. And I'll say it again, like, there's no easy games. Like, he's rated 981. Come on, man. Come on, man. So that was round 4. Let me know what you think in the comments. Stay tuned for round 5. I'll have that up in a couple of days. Thanks for watching. Bye.